Hello, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Banter, the podcast aimed at bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. It's a great balance.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
That's right. That's a life balance. Hello, everybody. And welcome back. Hello to all the YouTube viewers. Sorry, I'm going to actually adjust this microphone here. It's going to be super annoying for me.
Just for you.
Maybe
No one
that's
else
why I
cares
said
about
it.
this stuff.
Yeah, welcome back. And
Welcome.
hello again to our YouTube viewers, because
Yes.
this one has actual video. If you guys want to see our new little setup, I don't know if it's going to be permanently like this.
Yeah.
We're
playing around with
we're
it.
feeling
But
feeling
I feel like
things
the
out.
plant is going to stay. If you're looking, I went and bought a bunch of plants,
Plants don't
and
last
they're
forever, though.
staying. Yeah. I'm new to this plant thing, so.
Yeah. So I guarantee, as
It'll
I
be dead
adjust
soon.
myself, that I will not be staying, though. I am sorry, guys. I hate to break it to you, but
What?
we don't want to talk about it right now.
What? I'm so confused. I was like,
I don't know.
I can carry the
Hold
show
up.
like, if you need
Wait,
to go.
Okay, well, hi, everyone. Listeners as well, not just YouTube viewers. Welcome. I hope you guys are having a good day, good night, good morning, whatever time of day you're
Wherever
listening
you are,
to this
whatever
to.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pour one up for us.
Yep, because we already have poured 12.
Well, tonight, you are taking the lead.
Yeah. Does that mean you're doing the banter? Did you
About
come up with
that.
anything else?
About that. You know what?
Listen, guys, it's been rough lately.
I got some banter for you. You know what I did in the
no.
last episode, in the editing portion of it? I don't know how many people caught on to this, but at the end of the episode, our intro music leads us out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put the entire song at the end. So there's
Oh.
3.5 minutes of just the intro music.
I'm pretty
to
sure
end it.
nobody stays to listen for that, but
I do. I did it. And then I rewound it 3 minutes and then listened again all the way
okay.
through.
Anyway.
There's some banter for you. As you guys might tell, I'm a little rusty with the editing. And
Nobody.
no,
No.
lazy. Anyways, I guess we can just, you want to get right into it?
Yeah, let me say first, though, that if you listen to this last microdose episode, I had mentioned that I'm going to do shout outs on the next one. So I wanted to let you know that I lied.
He's a
That
liar.
It wasn't on purpose. I realized last minute that I'm a liar. I'll do it on the next one. I feel like I went back and I looked and I was trying to kind of last minute organize some shout outs, and I realized
Right.
they are so scattered. And
Yeah, there is a lot of
90% of them are private messages that I need to ask people first if it's okay. And
Yeah.
so I just didn't have the time. And if you've been listening, we've been in the process of moving, so there's a
Yes.
lot going on. So
Yeah, you know what? I do actually.
Next one.
I've got a shout out that we could use.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a follow up to that microdose episode.
Oh.
And it was Jessica. Oh gosh, what's the last name?
when was this posted? Because you just
Today.
did them. Oh,
12 hours
shoot.
ago. So Jessica
Oh.
Catherine, she said, "Hi guys, thanks for the shout out and the nearly there attempt of your Scottish accent."
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So
Okay.
She suggested a case that I'm going to dive into. I'm going to take a look
If
at
you
that.
guys want to hear Riley attempt a Scottish accent or just
Oh my goodness.
sound
Just think about it.
insane, just go to the last episode and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, for today's episode, do you have a teaser or anything, or you just want to hop
Nope,
right into it?
I always forget teasers.
Hey, you know
Terrible
what?
at that. I feel
Life's
like
a
I'd just
dirty
rather
game.
just raw dog it,
Life
you know?
is a dirty game, and you do
Just
have to play dirty.
get
to win
into it.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and hop right into it.
Okay. Newtown, Connecticut, November 19th, 1989. Friends of Helle Crafts drop her off at her home after a long trip back from Frankfurt, West Germany. This wasn't a vacation, but Helle was actually a flight attendant, so long trips like this were normal but exhausting. While she's away on these trips, her husband, Richard Crafts, takes care of their 3 kids along with a live-in nanny. Richard was actually a pilot himself, which is how they originally met. The morning after she gets dropped off, the children and the nanny find themselves being woken up at 6 a.m. by Richard telling them that the power's out and that they were all headed to stay with his sister nearby in Westport until the power came back on. Turns out a huge snowstorm had struck in the middle of the night, and the surrounding areas were without power. As bags are being packed and the car is being loaded up, the children and the nanny notice they haven't seen Helle all morning. Richard said she would meet them at the house later, but she never showed up. Over the next few weeks, Richard was questioned by Helle's friends where she might be. He gave many different answers, like she was visiting her mother in Denmark, which is where she's originally from, or she had gone to the Canary Islands with a friend. As we know, like changing stories are never a good sign.
No, not looking good for you, Rich.
Yeah. And this isn't a story where the husband evades questioning and everyone thinks he's a good guy. And no, Richard was immediately a suspect because what friends knew about the marriage came straight from Helle herself, and none of it was good. What people didn't know from the outside looking in is that the marriage was extremely volatile. Not only was Richard extremely verbally and emotionally abusive, but Helle knew he was having affairs, multiple affairs. Helle had grown suspicious of Richard and actually hired a private investigator who confirmed through pictures that he was indeed stepping out on her. This, coupled with the terrible anger issues and abuse, was enough for her to start divorce proceedings and put together a case to end the marriage. When weeks went by and still nobody had heard from her, friends and family decided they needed to report her missing, and on December 1st is when a formal police report was made. Helle's friends let the police know that on multiple occasions, Helle had told them, quote, "If something ever happens to me, don't think it was an accident," end quote. When police questioned Richard, they too received multiple answers as to why Helle hadn't been seen or heard from, which obviously raised their eyebrows, just like it did to everyone else. Police asked Richard if he had left the home at all on the night Helle disappeared, and he said no. But what he didn't know is that police had pulled his credit card transactions for that day, and it shows a purchase of brand new bedding.
Oops. There's a mistake right there, Richie.
And this transaction history was also something even more interesting. On the days leading up to her disappearance, it turns out Richard had bought a chest freezer and rented a wood chipper.
A chest freezer and a wood chipper.
And new bedding.
That is a very...
great recipe, right?
Yeah, okay, I'm putting things together in my mind. As I'm sure everybody else is.
You don't need to be too smart, too. By Christmas Day, police finally got a warrant together, but they waited until Richard took a vacation with his kids on December 26th, and this is when they searched his home when he was away. What they found only solidified their suspicions. They found missing pieces of carpet in the master bedroom. Turns out that police had questioned their nanny, who said she remembers seeing, quote, "a grapefruit-sized stain," end quote, that was now suddenly missing from the carpeting. Along with the missing carpet, police found a blood stain on the side of the bed as well.
A grapefruit-sized stain. And now, a grapefruit's not very big, though.
No.
I mean, it's a big for, I guess, a fruit, like an orange.
But it's not very big. But then pair that with it's now gone.
Right.
So,
okay.
And if you remember from what I just said like a minute ago, Helle had hired a private investigator when she had suspicions, right? And when she did this, part of the whole arrangement, I guess, and the PI's job is you hand over everything and they know what to look for in your documents, your paperwork, your credit card history, all this kind of stuff. They're trained to look out for weird stuff that maybe you might not catch.
Right. And that's why when, you choose to withhold certain information, they start getting frustrated because it's like, hey, you can't tell us. We've kind of discussed this.
But
you
in
can't
this
tell
case,
us if
right,
we can
she's
or
like,
can't know
find
this.
anything because I'm trying to get out of this. So at this point in the investigation, the PI had paperwork that showed a chainsaw had been purchased. And of course, this wouldn't really draw any attention if she was alive and well. But when she was trying to spy and find some proof of a mistress, a chainsaw really wasn't anything to pay attention to, right? But now that she's mysteriously disappeared, it's something to kind of pay attention to.
Take a look at, yeah.
Yeah. So this helped the police out. So the PI came forward and was like, listen, my client who was missing, I saw this in the paper. You guys might want to take a look at this. So police were able to actually track down the chainsaw, which we'll learn later how they were able to do that, where they found it at a nearby lake called Lake Zor. And it was actually found underwater and covered in hair and blood.
Oh.
Blood that matched Helle's DNA.
Interesting. And remind me again, you said this chainsaw was something that the PI found that Richard had purchased?
Under the transactional history, that's right.
All
before she had gone missing.
Okay.
Yep. The serial number had also been scratched off, which, and this is like just a little side note, I kept wanting to say Helle, but her name is Helle, so I kept changing everything to Hecka, because it was like, and I've been finding myself doing that in the past like few days. So I said it's Hecka suspicious. So not only was this damning evidence, but a local man by the name of Joseph Hine was using his snowplow on the same night that she went missing when the snowstorm had struck.
Okay.
And it was about 3 a.m., so she arrives home on the 19th late at night, and this was early morning of the 20th, so only hours after she had been seen last by friends being dropped off.
Right.
About 3 a.m. on the 20th. He saw a rental truck with a wood chipper attached close to the shore of Lake Zor. I've seen in a couple different websites that he actually knew Richard, which is why he recognized the truck and the car that had hauled the wood chipper there. He recognized the truck. Maybe this was a small town.
Even though it was a rental truck?
See, that's what I'm confused about. I don't know. So it's really weird that they said, like, that's why he paid attention to it, because he recognized Richard, or maybe he saw his face.
Yeah,
maybe.
or I guess you could,
he
if
drove
you saw
by
him earlier in the
close
day,
or something. Yeah. But this was at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So you would think it'd be dark. So I don't know how you could see Richard from over there. I don't know. Anyway, so I would think that a wood chipper on the shore of a lake at 3 a.m. in a snowstorm would probably stand out to you anyway.
Right, yeah, you're probably
what
wondering,
a weird
what the
time
hell
to
what the heck are you doing out there,
grind
bro?
up some like logs or something. Yeah. Like weird timing. So it wasn't until he had seen the news about Helle's disappearance, because if he knew Richard, he probably knew her, that he also saw that the home had been searched and that people were kind of skeptical about him, and, you know, small town rumors and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, oh, maybe this has something to do with it. So that's when he came forward, right? So with the help from Joseph Hine, police were led to where the wood chipper and the truck were spotted that early morning by Joseph. And there they discovered 3 ounces of human tissue, the crown of a tooth, a fingernail covered in pink nail polish, some bone chips, roughly 2,600 bleach blonde human hairs, and type O blood, which is the same type as Helle.
Things are starting to add up.
I put in here that there could not be any more physical proof than besides if her whole body was laying there with a sign that said Richard did it.
You got teeth, you got bones,
you have a
blood,
crown. Like, you have her actual tissue DNA. So based on everything they'd seen, heard, collected, and tested, police kind of came up with their own theory. They believe when Helle got home that evening of the 19th that Richard waited till maybe she was walking away from him or something and hit her over the head with some type of blunt object, knocking her out. They think he stored her body in the freezer until he cleaned up the mess and any evidence that was left behind. After cleaning it up, buying himself some time, he took her out of the freezer and took her to the lake where he cut up her body with the chainsaw and put the pieces in the wood chipper and spread her body all throughout the lake shore. On January 11th, an arrest warrant was granted on the evidence that they had gathered so far. When law enforcement went to arrest Richard, he responded with, "I'm tired. I'll take care of it in the morning." It took some time, but Richard finally relented and he was taken into custody where he was held on a bail of $750,000.
Wow.
Now, I put in here a little side note. I was wondering why he was kind of given this like privilege of like, we'll just wait for you to come out under an arrest warrant.
He's tired.
Why didn't they just bust his door down?
Go get him.
Like,
yeah, that's a little weird. That is
I put in here like white privilege.
where
I'm like, why would you?
something.
Like, you're just like, all right, we'll just wait for you to come out. So this would be a huge deal in the state of Connecticut because a no-body case had never been done at this point. And they felt confident, though, because there was so much evidence.
Yeah.
Clearly, I mean, the fingernail, the flesh,
The
the
hair,
teeth,
the blood,
the hair,
the crown. Yeah.
the serial number scratch off of the chainsaw that's just chilling at the bottom of the lake with hair on it that belongs to her.
Well, I mean, that
Switching stories.
every good lumberjack has a chainsaw with the serial number scratched off.
Anyway, so with these no-body cases, you can't try them until you can prove that the person is dead, and then you can move forward with a homicide, right? But you have to prove that they were murdered and not like missing, because you can't charge a murder degree against somebody who's missing. So that's why, right? You have to prove like there's so much of her body found that she could not be alive and have these body parts missing at the same time. So that's kind of what they were dealing with for a good amount of time. So obviously things like flesh and teeth are linked back to her. She's not walking around with pieces of flesh missing and teeth missing and she's just Gucci, right?
Yeah,
She's
you would think that
dead.
if she was missing a crown that she would have gone to the dentist somewhere,
or pieces
anywhere,
of flesh and
nearby.
hair and like, anyway. So the case was moved to New London, Connecticut due to the high publicity, and in 1988 the trial began. The first trial. Unfortunately, this ended in a mistrial when the jury was deadlocked 11-1, with a single juror walking out refusing to convict. I'm not sure why. I said he probably can't hang. Like, I don't know.
I wish we knew why. Some people
just can't, like, they can't deal with that on their conscience that they're sending somebody to prison for the rest of their life.
Right. See,
and sometimes you don't find that out until you have to make the choice.
I guess.
It's like a weird, heavy conscious thing. We've heard this before.
I've got a buddy that said, he's been, called for jury duty multiple times, and he's just told them, I'm not going to send anybody to prison. So, and then they tell him, all right, we're not going to have you. Because, I mean, that's the thing. He's just going to say not guilty.
He just uses the same thing each time?
Yeah.
That's a tip for you guys out there to get out of it.
But that's what you're talking about, though, because he knows. He's like, I don't want to be responsible for possibly having to send someone to prison. I guess you could use it as like a way to get out of jury duty, I guess.
But I mean, obviously this person had made it through the whole process and was at the case and all that stuff, and then at the very end they were like, I just can't. So
I feel like I don't know.
The only thing I could think of is like when you have that much evidence pointing to guilty.
Right.
The only reason why you wouldn't vote guilty is because you couldn't. Not because there's not proof.
Yeah, on your conscience you
that's
couldn't.
what I'm saying.
But that's where you would bring it up to the court, and then they would replace you as a juror, I feel like.
No, but this is already at the end. Yeah. This is already
No, I know. I feel like
at that point it's too late. You can't be substituted.
Right. I feel like with so much at some point during the trial, they're going to realize I'm probably not fit for this, because even as like things,
I think you think like I'm good until you get to the room where you're like, oh my God, somebody's life is in my hands. And like, I could see that somebody's like freaking out, and 11 out of 12 people are like, yeah, fuck this guy. And this person's like, oh my God, I can't sleep. Like,
Yeah. I could see that.
That's what happened. I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah. I could see that. I can also see that person being the type of person that with any big decision.
Oh, I'm sure. Right.
If they're getting ready to buy a car, they're like, oh, I can't do this. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't want it anymore. Like they would lose their earnest money when trying to buy a house.
Okay.
I learned what that is now, so I can talk about it.
Okay. Anyway, gotta get back to seriousness. Okay.
Yes.
So an inevitable retrial was going to take place, and this time it was moved to Norwalk, Connecticut, after, again, a massive publicity had taken over. 3 years and 2 days since Helle was last seen alive, Richard was found guilty. He was sentenced to serve 50 years. This is the first no-body conviction in the whole state of Connecticut. Richard has been released and is actually at a halfway house in New Haven. So that's where he is now. I didn't mean to drop it off like that, but that's pretty much the end of it. He was found guilty. obviously that's not 50 years. So I figure he's probably good behavior. He's probably chilling, probably wasn't causing any trouble. And they were like, get out of here.
How?
I don't know.
I guess so.
Appeals.
Connecticut, I feel like, is a weird place. All those northeastern states where it's like,
I agree.
yeah, we're a state, and like it's a 20-minute drive to the next state. I'm like, you're not a real state then.
Listen,
you're a big city with
didn't
borders.
decide that, okay? If they had it their way, they'd probably be a town.
Yeah, but then they right. Yeah, I don't know. Northeastern people, I'm sorry for listening, but you don't know the pain.
Riley is very opinionated this evening. I'm not sure what's happening.
I am.
We didn't discuss this
I'm
beforehand.
a homeowner.
No, stop. Stop. Okay. Weird
far,
flex.
too far.
Weird flex. Okay.
Interesting.
I feel like you were kind of quiet the whole time. Do you have any thoughts? I mean,
no,
it's pretty cut and dry on this
really,
one.
did he ever, I guess the trouble with certain cases like this is that it's obvious that they're denying that they did it, you know, and so they're not going to give you a reason as to why they did it.
Exactly, right.
And that's like the toughest thing. Not even like...
Well, for the family, right? Yeah.
Right. Because even with other like no body cases where a missing person, you know, and somebody gets accused for, I don't know, harming them or something, or I don't know, kind of like the Oakley Carlson case that we brought up before, where it's like the parents were convicted for something completely separate from her, but you still feel like they did something to her. It's I feel like it's similar to that, where you just have all these questions as to why did you do it versus where is she type of thing. But it's the same concept or feeling that I have, where it's just like there's a lot of things. I think a lot of things that people do that you really wonder why. But this is one of those. But he's never going to tell you because even though he's already been convicted for it, you were playing not guilty the entire time. So you can never admit as to why. Right. Kind of like OJ.
Yep. Well, it's kind of like one of those things where if you never say you did it, then they can never really, like, pin it on you. I mean, you can with evidence, but you will always have that little bit of something that kind of, I don't want to say saves you, because even if you have evidence, technically everyone's going to think you did it, but you never admitted to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is like
once
the
you admit
optics
it,
of what it looks like.
It's over.
So this kind of makes me think of like celebrities who get in trouble.
Okay.
Whether, I don't know exactly what's going on with like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, whatever. But if, I mean, that's a good example. You know, Amber Heard, she's like admitted to like defecating on his bed and stuff, right? The fact that she said she did it, you're like, that's fucking weird. But if she always denied it, it would just kind of be a mystery as to like, well, you definitely did it, but you're denying it. And I want to know if there's like actual truth in your hard set denial.
And I guess that's where like individual opinions come into play, right? Because people like you and I will be like, there's so much other stuff paired with this. There's no way that you didn't do that.
Right. And that is obviously how juries...
And then there's other people that will just be like, well, she denied it, so she probably didn't do it because you're a fucking idiot.
Right.
So.
And that's where, when, you know, jury selection comes into play. And it's like, and you got 11 people, if they all think she or he did it,
like
then
in this
you
case,
probably did
I think probably time is Richard's best friend. Like, this isn't like staring him in the face every day. Like, maybe he has trouble getting a job and that kind of stuff. But, like, I don't think he's walking around modern day and people recognize him and are like, fuck you, dude, you killed your wife. And, like, he's probably just, like, quietly tucked away. He probably doesn't talk to his kids. I mean, I don't know if his kids think he's innocent. I don't know.
But that's where I, you know, for me, I wonder if he, you know, fully admitted, I did it and this is why. Yeah. I wonder if his ability to get a job would be diminished even more. Like, people are like, oh, not only are you a convict, but you actually admitted and this is your, like, I definitely don't want to hire you. Yeah. That type of thing. Or, you know, I don't know. That's where I just wonder
these are all the details,
the optics of it for certain people in different situations, how things change.
It's such an individual thing. First of all, it depends what the crime is, right? And then it depends what the evidence is. depends the circumstances. Were you angry? Were you in a fight? Was it self-defense? There's so many things. Yeah.
And that's where, we don't get paid enough to try to, that's where lawyers come into play, and they get to decide, no, this is fucking clearly this or that. And,
right.
Hey,
especially
good for you guys.
defense attorneys. Oh my God.
I mean, I know you're going to be a
Fuck you
lawyer,
guys.
but.
Shut up. You're so annoying.
No,
Anyway.
This
So
is
that's
an
the
interesting
story
case.
of
So
Helle Crafts.
the first no body convicted murder in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I'm always interested in those.
Which makes sense because you don't even really need one because there's so much
No,
stuff stacked against
exactly.
Richard.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You'd have to be that 1 out of 11 that
It
was a
would,
fucking idiot.
if the evidence wasn't found, it was found in the wood chipper, right?
No, it's found on the lake shore.
No, on the chainsaw too, and then the
Yes.
lake shore.
Right.
If the evidence, I think, wasn't found on the chainsaw, and there wasn't as much evidence of it, obviously, like maybe a fingernail here would be like, okay.
Right.
Like,
that would
she
probably
broke
be
a nail.
hard to... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
That's
even
where,
hair. It's like, okay, you
that's
can
where
lose
the
hair.
lawyers would really come up with all kinds of circumstances. But like, how could you leave flesh behind?
The crown.
Your crown and your tooth.
Yeah.
I actually saw that a couple different websites. There was 3 teeth they found. One of them had a crown. So multiple teeth were found.
Yeah, I think there it is right there. Can we?
That's what it was.
What is the threshold of number of teeth that have to be found from one person to assume death?
That they're dead.
I
right.
think 2
on
is
a lake
okay.
Shore.
2 might be like you either your 2 front teeth, you fell and hit a rock or something.
Okay,
Once
see, now you sound like a lawyer.
Yeah, once you hit 3, it's
I
like
tripped and slipped.
unless
and
you're a dentist.
hit a rock.
I don't think you're gonna. Or my grandpa used to have like false teeth, so he would lose half his teeth at the same time. So maybe my argument.
But they'd all
fell
be
apart.
connected.
True. And
my
he'd take him
God.
out at the weirdest moments.
Oh, memories.
Oh, ay. Well, thank you. So Richard, what was the last name again?
Richard Crafts.
Richard Crafts.
And I believe Helle Crafts when she was married, but I
Yeah.
believe her maiden name was Nielsen.
Helle Nielsen.
She was from Denmark, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Richard, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, seriously,
I
big
mean,
old
I know
dick.
you're not admitting to do. That was good.
Thank
Big
you.
old dick.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fuck you, dude. You're not gonna admit to it, but you did it. There was 3 teeth.
This jury
There
has
was
voted.
more than 2 teeth. So, all right. Well, thank you for that. I enjoyed it. I hope everyone else enjoyed it.
I'll spend the next few days collecting shout outs because
Yes.
I know how it is.
Yeah,
People
maybe-
really like to hear their name, and I love to do it.
Yeah, the next microdose will definitely be shout out heavy. So if you guys have
Shout
been
out
sending us
heavy.
anything
Yeah.
at all, stay tuned for that. Shout out heavy. I said
I
shout
know. You just look cute right now. That's all.
Oh, wow. Well,
Aw.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The one annual
It's on-
compliment caught on film.
I know, and I'm recording it, and I'm going to spread it everywhere.
Anyway.
All right. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you for joining us. If you are joining us, I'm messing with this mic stand here, all weird. We're going to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I was a little flustered some of this time because things are weird, but... check us out. Check us out on YouTube. Let us know
Or
what you think of
don't. This one's weird.
our Hey Arnold
Just
plant
listen.
here right behind
Yeah.
me. And yeah. Thank you guys for joining. And this has been another episode of the True Crime Banter podcast. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
See ya.
Bye.